NATO countries have agreed to increase defense spending to 5% of GDP, the level sought by President Donald Trump. But Spain was a holdout and has been threatened with increased tariffs by Trump as a result. Now, members of the alliance also restated their commitment to mutual defense following a short summit in the Netherlands. With defense spending on the rise and drones now forming a critical part of modern warfare, firms such as Quantum Systems, which specializes in fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles, are being propelled into the spotlight. It is my pleasure to introduce to you this morning Sven Kruck, co-CEO of Quantum Systems. Sven, great to have you on the show and have the chance to speak with you today, particularly after that NATO summit. I'm just trying to understand, companies like yours have had such a growing increase, really, with everything that's going on in the world. I'm just wondering, how has the latest development, and that being the commitment of NATO to 5% of GDP spending on defense, how is that changing the outlook for your company?
I mean, the outlook is good. I mean, it's a non-binding agreement on 5%, so we have to be sure that this will have an impact also in really spending this money. But yes, the outlook is good, and we will see how the government and especially the purchasing departments are able to spend this money in the right directions, and especially in the right direction of unmanned systems, which is the future of modern warfare.
So I would also like to understand from a practical point of view what is happening on the ground. I saw that recently you announced a deal with Airbus Defense. I'm wondering what sort of conversations you're having with other perhaps more established European bigger names to make this sort of deal more of a day-to-day reality for your business.
I mean, yes, we are stepping into new way of modern warfare, as said before, and a big role plays the new defense players like us, like Quantum Systems and many others, like for example, Anduril from the US. And now we have to see how the old companies, so to say, with the manned systems, play what role they can play in this game. And for us, Airbus is a great partner here in Europe, and we want to step with them into this future, especially on the software-defined defense parts. So our software layer Mosaic, which is a fundament of this partnership, will play a crucial role, and it will bring manned and unmanned systems together and to steer them on the battlefield, like with players Airbus or Rheinmetall or others.
Do you think that all of the money that has been promised, whether that's the 5% GDP target from the NATO or the 150 billion that the European Commission says that it's making available, is that what the industry needs to grow even further?
Absolutely. I mean, if you break this down, for example, to Germany, that's an increase coming from 70 billion to going up to 150 billion in 2029. Already implemented now in the budget plans, this decision from the NATO summit in Den Haag. The question is this the right linear approach, because the threat of Russia on Europe is now there on the table. And as Rutte said, the threat will come up here in the next 2-3 years. So the question is, do we have to spend now more and not in 2029 or in 2030? So it's a more inverted linear increase of the spending. So I think that is wrong, because normally we need now the money and maybe have to decrease in the 2030s. And maybe that is an approach we have to discuss, because the threat and the problem is now on the table. But again, it's a chance for the NATO. The 32 nations agreed on it. Spain will be flexible. And I think also US is in the boat now again. That is great. We need the US for NATO as a strong partner to getting Europe into the right direction and to get this threat of Russia done here in Europe.
I would also like to give us a little bit of color in terms of the operations in Ukraine. You're present in the country. What is happening there? Because it seems that Ukraine is actually starting to struggle a little bit with the fact that there's a weakening in support and military support coming from the United States. Are you having to step up your support to Ukraine?
First, I mean, Ukraine is where Europe's freedom is defended. So it's really crucial to be there on the ground, and to support as best as we can. We are there since 2022. We have now more than 200 people on the ground, and we will go on. And I disagree in terms of that they are struggling. I disagree in terms of that Europe support is decreasing or is struggling. I feel it different. There was a bad times maybe the last 12 months, but now it's especially increasing. It's more established in the spendings and donations coming from Europe. And as Stammer and Merz and also Macron has showcased 2-3 weeks ago in Kiev, the support is stronger than ever. So that's also has an impact for us, and we are go on, and we are doing our best on the ground to support.
I'm afraid we have to leave the conversation there. We're against a hard break. Perhaps we can speak at a later date. Sven Kruck, co-CEO of Quantum Systems.